We are back, exercisebay.com. Dave Parisi here with Emilio. We are talking about deltoids, every aspect of them. Shoulder flexion, shoulder extension, abduction, adduction, and obviously elevation. So we're going over step by step the how-tos and the why-nots. He wants to do a side raise. By definition, based on the clinical research that I've done over the last 25 years, it's mostly anterior delt and a little bit of the medial delt. I shouldn't say it that way, the middle delt, because it's not medial to anything. So we're going to show you just quickly, if you were to do a side raise and just put your hands by your side and lift up, you could only go so far where you're going to get some shoulder elevation. The bottom line is I don't want to go up that high. Okay, so if you talk about humeral abduction as it's coming away from your side, obviously the first anywhere from 25 to 30 degrees is mostly not only the deltoid, the anterior delt, and the mid delt, but a little bit of the supraspinatus part of that rotator cuff. Okay, from there on, obviously the deltoid takes over, but they're both in there. One doesn't take a coffee break. The bottom line is I don't want to go into a zone, a risk zone, where the clavicle and the acromion process are going to meet one another. That should always remain, as I put it, as a skating rink, not an emery board. So we don't want to actually grind that out and have Emilio complaining of shoulder pain on the top of his shoulder in a couple years. So he's doing a side raise from the side, like this. Okay, but we just went over and we proved that this is mostly shoulder flexion. Okay, so I want to basically load him in a fiber direction position that's going to put a little more emphasis on the mid delt rather than the anterior delt. So what I'm going to ask him to do is do a basic side raise with one dumbbell here. Okay, can we come around this way, Code? Back up. So in a standing side raise, feet a little wider. I want water running down the arm. I want this open a little bit, water running down the arm a little bit, a little more bend in the elbow. Don't pour a drink at the top. I don't know what that's for. You don't want internal rotation of the shoulder girdle. Keep your hand neutral. If anything, if you have some shoulder problems, you could turn it actually the opposite way. You don't want the elbow to drop this way. Okay, you want to make sure that that stays on one plane. So if you let go of this for a second, you always want to make sure when you're doing a side raise that a string or an attachment is here, mid-arm, pulling to the ceiling. Okay, pulling to the ceiling. It's not here. Okay, because if it's here, you're going to get an external rotated position. Now, a side raise, hold that position, is mostly anterior. Turn to the side. The mid-delt runs on a diagonal. Okay, it doesn't run straight up and down. That would be cool. Then he could do a side raise, but it runs on a diagonal. So I'm going to put his arm here. And then I need a load line. But guess what? Hold that right there. If the load's coming from here, and I place a dumbbell in his hand, and I have him go through that side raise, gravity and opposition is pulling down this way. So he's actually going through a front raise the entire time. He's going through a front raise the entire time. There's no load coming from this angle. Okay? No load coming from this angle. He's trying to hold this up. I know you're following me. So, we need a load to come from this angle. So we're going to go over to the cable machine.